joining in. We're going to wait for around like 3 or 5 more minutes for us to start, and we'll wait for people to come in, start coming in, and settle down. So, once again, thank you so much. All right, so we might as well be starting. So, good morning, or afternoon, or maybe evening as well. Well, depending on where you guys are joining from. But my name is Giselle Cavenga as Premias Nacional's community leader of West Coast 3, and I'll be your moderator for today's Compass series, Pathways to Undergraduate Studies, hosted by Premias Nacional. So this session is designed to give, insights to Indonesian students who are thinking about or in the process of applying for undergraduate programs in the United States. Through through our panel today, you'll hear, personal experiences, strategies, and advices directly from Indonesian students currently studying in the US. So before we begin, maybe here's a few quick notes. So this session will run for around 90 minutes, and the recording will be available afterward on Premier Sessional's YouTube channel. So joining us today, we have Valencia Candias from Wesleyan University. You can go ahead and say hi, please.
Hi, how are you?
Doing great. How are you? So aside from Valencia here, we do have Chloe as well, from UC Berkeley. So we've met in a few events as well, right, Chloe?
Yeah, nice to meet you.
All right, nice to meet you too. And next we have Samantha, or from UCSD. She's also part of
Hi,
class.
hello everyone. So much for tuning in. Looking forward to how this event's gonna go.
All right, thank you so much, guys, for being here and sharing your journeys as well. So I guess we'll now move into the main part of today's session. So basically a panel style Q&A. So I'll start by asking some guiding questions in different themes, and from academic background to, let's say, admission and finances, student life, and reflection. There's going to be a whole lot of things we're going to cover here today, but it'll be really exciting with the three of you guys here. And then, of course, I'll start with a question for one of our speakers, and we'll flow from there. So you'll hear different perspectives as well. So if you guys, any of you guys want to jump in, just go ahead. It's going to be a cute, casual talk between the four of us. So let's dive right in. So perhaps firstly, we would start off with personal and academic background, let's say. And Valencia, maybe we can start with you. Could you share what program and major you're currently in, and perhaps a little bit of glimpses as well of what motivated you to pursuing your undergraduate studies in the US? Kenapa sih US gitu ya kasarnya? Kenapa nggak dulu ngejalanin S1 mungkin di Indonesia ataupun di let's say Canada atau negara lainnya seperti itu? Mungkin bisa dimulai.
Yep. Hi, Giselle. It's so nice to meet you. Once again, really excited to be here. Nama aku Valen. Valen is fine. And I go to Wesleyan, which is in Connecticut. My major is economics, and I minor in data analysis. And to answer your question, why the US? For me, I think when I was habis lulus SMA, I truly didn't know what I was gonna do. And I was really scared of kind of picking the wrong major. Terutama kalau misalnya di Indo or anywhere else, you have to pick your major right away. And so what I appreciated from the States was that you have the flexibility, at least in your first 2 years, to explore. So it gave me a buffer, just kind of like figure out what I want to do and I don't know, adapt to college life. So for me, that's the main draw to the US.
Yeah, I want to note down the fact that you mentioned kayak kalau undergraduate di US kan 4 tahun kan ya. Dan 2 tahun pertama ini memang apa ya mewajibkan kayak students to like explore what they actually like, what their interests are. So in several occasions, kayak let's say ada orang yang pengen banget pursue this major firstly, initially gitu kan, major A. Cuman kayak towards the end gitu kan ya, keluar atau mungkin in their junior year or like senior year, they start to think kayak, hey, maybe this is not what I'm into. Cuman kayak there's like another particular interest gitu. Jadi akhirnya graduate in like di major B gitu, let's say. Jadi there's always a shift gitu. And aku sendiri kayak I get to experience that myself. Kayak initially I was interested in like public health. I still am part of the program. Cuman pada akhirnya kayak in my junior years gitu, apakah baiknya jadi pengen nambah lagi gitu, kayak pengen minor in public policy juga. And it's like interesting karena it's unexpected gitu. And maybe I heard that Chloe, you're also minoring gitu kan, if I'm not mistaken, right? Maybe you want to talk about that and how kenapa akhirnya memilih minor itu gitu. Atau do you have like experiences that you can share as well that's similar to mine or Valencia's?
Yeah, for sure. Jadi in Berkeley, it's really easy to take like double major, triple major, or even like double minor and everything because you only need to like declare it. The reason why I choose urban planning, it's kind of random, but back then I really loved play this game called like SimCity, if you guys know. And I just love the fact that like I can like plan the city from the scratch, and that's the reason why I thought that like urban planning will be like a really interesting major and also like an interesting studies because like kayak di Indo mungkin ada tapi kayak limited juga university yang actually ada the major itself. Jadi kayak I just take it for fun and like yeah gitu doang sih sebenarnya.
Right. That's really nicely trying to link it to SimCity. Kayak it reflects on how kayak kita as students kayak develop, I guess, in our 4 years gitu kan. You tend to learn something that you didn't know. I always bring that up to my fellow friends gitu yang kayak just going into me and kayak aduh kayaknya gue pengen S2 di luar gitu kan. Let's say my friends yang lagi S1 gitu di UI di Indonesia. Aduh S2 pengen di luar tapi aku takut gitu kan, sebenarnya bisa nggak sih with the homesickness and all gitu kan ya. What about you kayak Sam, kayak have you experienced the same thing and kayak aduh being so homesick gitu kan, or maybe experiences like that feeling of getting accepted into let's say UCSD where you are right now or a few other universities that you have applied and kayak certain doubts juga but being excited for it. I'm pretty sure you've already experienced something like that.
Yes, of course. I think homesick is just very, very normal for me, especially like I'm the only child and I'm like super close with my parents. And oh, homesick is just so normal for me. But then I think with all the support from my family and also my friends, like going all the way to the US to pursue my education, I think support from families and friends are just very important to keep you going and to keep you reminded um that you're pursuing something in the US and it's not a chance that everyone can get, especially considering that the US offers one of the best education in the world. That's also one of the consideration why I chose being in the US as well compared to other countries like Canada or Australia. I think the US offers a lot of unique opportunity for the students. For example, as what Valencia told us, like we are able to explore our majors and also minors the first 2 years, or even when you're senior and you explore something new, you can literally just pursue it. And I think and I also remember that when I took a random class and I ended really loving it. It's like a music class or something like that. Um and the professor kaya told me that if this is a class that pressures you, you can literally just take it with a pass no pass, so that you can just you don't have to worry about the grades. You will just have to learn and take something new from all these courses. And I think I really appreciate those flexibility that the US institution offer, that I believe maybe not a lot of universities outside the United States offers. And I think yeah, despite being homesick, being so far away from home, and experience a time difference, I think the experience and the opportunities that you get from being in the US doesn't really compare when you're in other university outside the United States. Yeah.
No, you're definitely right. I want to know the fact that you mentioned a lot of like flexibility. It's really nice that we're really outgoing as people gitu kan. Kita tuh maksudnya banyak banget kesibukan lain di luar sekolah gitu. Bukan cuma fokus academically, cuman di luar juga. Saya berorganisasi gitu kan, joining clubs gitu kan. I've heard Chloe juga she has like a startup as I'm sure Valencia and Sam juga being involved in, let's say, Permias or like Indonesian organizations as well, gitu kan ya. Jadi cuman yang kita syukurin dari US ini justru mereka really value that, really value students yang punya interest dan kesibukan lain di luar sekolah gitu kan. Like Sam mentioned, in the areas of music juga, let's say gitu kan. Jadi really allowing students to explore gitu. It's really nice. So perhaps we can move on to, let's say, admissions and or application journey. So maybe Valencia, we can start with you again. So what were your main criteria when selecting schools? Gitu kan ya? Was it your location, your campus culture, or something else?
Yeah, really good question, Giselle. This is a while back. I'm a senior now, so it's like digging into my old brain. Tapi for I would say choosing university, it was mostly choosing a country for me. Karena it was a few things. One, I wanted to study abroad, and then two, I needed to do it in a way where I can afford it. So in this situation where I was in, I needed like a full scholarship or full financial aid, or otherwise I just would not be able to afford it. And so the countries that I shortlisted was essentially just English speaking countries, just due to the fact that I couldn't speak like Chinese or like any other languages that was, kind of convenient for that. So it was like, the UK, the US, Canada, Australia, and Hong Kong was in the list. And then secondly, it was kind of shortlisting based on the scholarships that they offer. So surprisingly, the US, even though admissions wise, I feel like it's the hardest amongst kind of all the other countries, but they gave the most scholarships. So Canada, for instance, or Australia, for instance, they do have scholarships, but I think there's a baggage that comes with it. You need to like either come back to your country or you need to work for, whoever. Like that was something I wasn't comfortable with just because I didn't really know what I was going to do. I didn't know if I want to come back to Indo or not, straight up undergrad. There's just a lot of uncertainties. I wanted a scholarship that just did not have any baggage on it. So that was the two main criterias. And then the US was basically on the top of the list because of that, because most of the scholarships they gave just because, and because they have the resources to do so. And then, also like the quality of education, et cetera, comes after that. And then afterwards is more of kind of like shortlisting which universities does that. So Wes here has a Freeman Asian Scholarship, which is just scholarship to like mostly 1 to 2 people from 11 Asian countries. Um, and they, they give full ride. So essentially just scholarship from West, and there's no baggage that comes with it. When I graduate, I just graduate as a West alum, and that's it. And so there were other couple, so that was kind of like the main driver. And then secondly, you can talk about all of the, like the curriculum, all of the social culture and everything. Those for me comes after. And I would say for Wes, just because I've been talking for a long time, the main thing is just for curriculum. So we don't have any required classes. I can kind of take whatever as long as I graduate with 32 credits. And so I really like that flexibility just because in Indo, as you guys also experience, we have such a structured curriculum that even if I don't like IPA, for instance, like I still had to take it. And so here I kind of can just do whatever with my schedule and just fit it to what I want. And so when I got in, that was like a pretty easy decision to go here in the end.
Thank you so much. And by the way, I was just wondering
Mhm.
whether like OPT is also
Mhm.
a factor of yours, or perhaps Chloe and Sam would want to add up. Because for me personally, when I was aiming to apply to, let's say, um, like another country, of course, to pursue
Mhm.
my education, I think thinking about career wise, looking for a job has always been a factor of mine in trying to, let's say, prolong my days or basically a year, let's say, in the States or wherever country you're studying. And one of the reasons why I myself pursued an education here in the States, because I knew that for me as, let's say, um, as a STEM major, I could get like a 3 years like OPT. And I was wondering if you guys have the same thing or same like idea as I have right now as well, because I took that into consideration. Maybe you guys want to add up.
Yeah, really shortly to Giselle's point, OPT essentially is just a visa that you have after you graduate at a US institution where you can work here 1 year for most degrees, but 2 years extension, so 3 years total for like all the STEM degrees. And really quickly to chime in, I did put that consideration. I think that was a really good point. I knew I wasn't as like much of a woman in STEM as Giselle, maybe the other kind of women in this call. Just science was never my strong suit. The only thing I was considering was econ, and econ here for some schools, you do get STEM OPT, including Wesleyan. We're counted as econometrics. And I did end up becoming an econ major. So that was definitely something I kept in mind before choosing Wesleyan.
Well, that's interesting. Thank you so much for sharing, by the way. And I was just wondering, since we're talking like heavily talking about like admissions and like applications as well, perhaps we can dive into like maybe it was, I don't know. I applied specifically as a transfer student, and I was wondering if, let's say, Chloe, as like a freshman, was like applications overwhelming for you, especially you as like a BIM, beasiswa Indonesia Maju. What's it called? It's really tough. I'm pretty sure, like essays and recommendation letters, test scores, and all. Like, how did you prepare? And was that challenging for you? Was that frustrating? Gitu?
I think it's definitely frustrating. I still remember back in like 11th grade, I've always stressed out because like I really want to go to US, especially Berkeley, because my mentor went to Berkeley and I see him as like a I don't know, as a cool person, I think, back then. So there's like a lot of pressure within me, like pressure to do very well and those kind of stuff. And at the same time, I come from Pontianak, which is like a small city in Indo, and like there, we don't have like that much of resource in a way that like, we don't even have a SAT center. And we don't have like IELTS computer-based testing, which makes it hard for me because I have to go back and forth to Jakarta just to take the test. So I think like that is like the biggest struggle. Um, and yeah, but like at the end of the day, I survived and I'm here now. So for those who are trying to get into UC or like any other US schools, like I know it's gonna be tough at first, but like trust me, at the end of the day, everything will be worth it. Just pray and also do your best because God will do the rest. But yeah, I think that is the motto that I have. But
Thank you so much for sharing. I do have a lot of friends, let's say, yang sebenarnya backgroundnya itu teman-teman aku dari sekolah swasta gitu. Banyak sekali yang pengen banget untuk bisa pursue education di US ataupun di luar negeri juga kan ya. Cuman selalu ada there's this like stereotype yang mungkin bilang, aduh, like immigrant education in the States itu mahal banget gitu kan ya. Sebenarnya ada nggak sih, let's say kayak beasiswa selain BIM gitu kan ya? Atau mungkin like scholarships and you guys have inside your campuses, let's say, yang available for us students to um, apa ya, apply gitu. Or I think perhaps maybe budgeting as an international student is also such a big factor. Do you have any other like any tips you guys have perhaps? You guys want to share? Maybe Sam being a student in Cali, in San Diego. Yeah, do you have any budgeting tips gitu for incoming students, let's say, yang mau do education di sana?
Yeah, maybe I could start. I honestly think going to the United States is one of my most expensive decision because like I would say if I have to compare with other country like Australia or Canada or like maybe even China, the US is so expensive. That's why I chose to be in community college first instead of going straight into a 4-year institution, which gives me the opportunity to other than explore all the majors and opportunities that I have to pick schools where I want to transfer, but also gives me the a cheaper tuition, I would say, compared to a 4-year institution. And I would say this is a lot of pathway that a lot of Indo people chose to be kaya just go to a community college for the first 2 years and then you transfer your credits to a 4-year institution and then I think it saves a lot and I think it really helped my GPA as well and it helped me um getting used to the system in the United States because obviously it's very different to high school and even university in Indonesia with all the structure and also the culture as well. And so I think being in a community college one really helped me save the expensive tuition and also helped me to adapt better with the culture in the United States, especially because there's just a lot of international students in community college, as well as easier classes as well, smaller classes, so that the professor can really, really focus on helping you to simply just get a better grades and to help you really, really understand what you need and what you want. And I think it's really nice for you to also build a Indo community because I believe in community college there's just a lot of Indo and I think from there it gives you a good foundation on settling down in the US before you go into a 4-year institution and finishing your junior and senior year. Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. So I just really want to like enhance the idea that you mentioned that community college can really help you in the idea of saving up your budget, of course, because let's say, uh, sorry if there are background noises. Okay, but anyways, um, I get that. So just a little bit of background of how community college works. So let's say for undergraduate here in the States, you need a full 4 years in order to get your undergraduate degree. But thanks to community college, you can save up 2 years and then apply again as a transfer student for the remaining 2 years. So aside from paying off tuition, let's say 50 to 60,000 per year, because we're all international students, we get to like apply for half the price for the full 2 years, so it saves up a bunch of money. really. It truly is a lifesaver. And just like Sam mentioned, um, the first 2 years in community college could really help you because they have like small group classrooms. So aside from like the ones in university, usually they have like huge rooms. So it's really nice that in a community college you get the one-on-one experience with like professors in a smaller room. Then again, there are a lot of several ways you can pursue your education in the States with so many um, ways that eases you up, when it comes to financials and stuff. So I was just wondering, how are you guys like living in a dorm or like an apartment, um, in on campus or out of campus? Maybe you guys want to share how it's like?
I think I can share first. So in my first year, it's basically required to be on campus, which is the dorm. And my second year, I decided to stay off campus just because like on campus housing is it's very expensive. And basically last year I lived with like two other people in the same room. So you guys imagine the current room that you guys have, but like divided by three people. And it's just crazily packed and like it's a bit I don't know. I personally, I'll say I suffered a lot in my first year because like when you're like in a mental breakdown, right? You just want to cry at your room and like and just I don't know and just like cry, basically cry. But like yeah, you couldn't do that because like your roommate is there and it's so embarrassing to cry in front of people. So I think that is an interesting experience, but thanks to like the on-campus housing, I met my best friend. She's from the Bay. She's a Bay Area people. So like yeah, I think it's a really awesome experience. But like in second year, which is like this year, off campus is way more affordable, and basically you got your own room. So like it's good for me. But like yeah, what about Valencia and Samantha?
I'm living in dorms. West is a very small campus where we're very, very small compared to like Berkeley or like a lot of the state school. And so all of our housing is basically around the area, and you very rarely can live off campus. You can count how many people who can live off campus. So to Chloe's point, it's true that it's really hard to live with people. I was very lucky that all my 4 years here, I've never had to live with someone, and that was because my school is really small. And also, secondly, I worked as an RA, and so essentially, you just get resident advisors where you're kind of the community manager, your resident advisor to the dorm that you're in. And so you get paid. Thankfully, because of my scholarship, I never had to pay for any boarding. So that was for me just like, it was just money that I earned for myself. But I think if you're going to kind of schools that offer that position, that could be a good way to like you can live alone and also you also get paid. So that's a good kind of like advantage to both of it.
Yeah, I unfortunately did not have any experience in living in a dorm, but I do have experience living in a homestay back when I was still in community college in Cupertino. I live in a homestay where my host parents are Indo as well, and I'm really really grateful because that really helped me in just settling down in the United States because I think being in a homestay with host parents, especially Indo host parents, they really really look out for you, and I think mereka kayak sering share makanan lah, ngajak makan, and I'm really really grateful of that because it feels like, especially when you're homesick, it feels like you're at home, and I think that really, really helped me settling down in the United States before I transferred to UCSC, and I shared an apartment with two other Indos. But honestly, if I had the chance to live in a dorm, even though I know that most likely you'll live with someone else in the same room, I think I would take it because I think that really gives the the US, the American experience, especially living in a dorm. And my campus is huge. I think I could literally walk from the south part of the campus to the north part of the campus for 30 minutes. And I think living in a dorm would really, really be helpful, because my campus is so huge, and a lot of the organization and kaya tabling, and also info night for clubs, and all of the activities outside classes to kaya at night gitu. I think it would be really, really helpful if you live in a dorm, because you can literally just kaya keliling-keliling campus and kaya ikut info night lah, or like movie night at like my campus center, or maybe just kaya mingle around in the library, which is open 24/7. I think that gives you the ultimate American experience. But then thankfully for me, living in an apartment is not so bad as well, because we do have a good public transportation. We have kaya LRT gitu that goes to the school directly, and also some bus. And I think it's really nice. It really depends on your preference. For transport student, I think you can also live in the dorm with a room by yourself. But even though it's pretty expensive, you get to have like a food credit as well, so you can kayak beli makanan, do grocery at school as well. I think it really, really depends on what your preference are like, because again, where you live is also where you study, right? I think it really depends, but there's a lot of option, I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, pada akhirnya itu pilihan ya, where you want to like live. And there's always like pros and cons. Let's say like living in a dorm, you get new friends, gitu kan. And kayak closer to go to campus. I agree when Sam said kayak your campus is like huge. It can take 30 minutes to go from one end to another end, gitu kan. And here in the University of Washington, they have like, I don't know if you guys know limes. They're like electric scooters, and they're like lifesavers, honestly. But then again, kaya, you can't always use those. And sometimes I wish, kaya, oh my God, if only I lived in a dorm, things would be so much easier. Sometimes my group mates or some of my friends are going to be like, oh, you, like, aku bangun kayak 2 jam sebelum kelas gitu kan. Aku baru bangun kayak 5 setengah jam sebelum gitu. Kayak semangat nih guys gitu kan, selalu kayak gitu. But I think it's really interesting that Sam and I, we're also both in a community college, although different. I go to Edmonds College back then, here in Washington as well. Back then, because I was still like, I think 16. Yeah, basically still underage. So mewajibkan kayak students itu untuk under apa ya, host parents basically. So like in a homestay as well, and it's also part of the community college program as well. So because I was underage, basically they know that we still need like parent guidance and like supervision and all. Makanya akhirnya aku di-appoint sama host parents, dan itu gak sama orang Indonesia, tapi with like an American. My host dad was American, and then he married like an Asian, basically like woman. Jadi host mama aku tuh masih orang Chinese, yang syukurnya kayak masih makannya tuh masih nasi dan kayak nggak jauh dari masakan pedas. Aku kayak bersyukur banget, alhamdulillah gitu kan ya. Yang kayak thank God, karena it's really scary, kayak whenever I talk to my family, karena there's like another side of my family yang kayak, are you sure you wanna go? Kayak it's really far gitu kan. You can only go back to Indonesia like once in a year, or maybe like, I don't know, once or twice, I don't know. And it's so really uncertain back then. But, the little things that make you feel like, okay, maybe I can hang in here, gitu kan. And like what maybe you guys have mentioned, kayak there are Indonesians as well, gitu kan ya. Sebenarnya nggak jauh dari lingkungan kita. And it's really nice kayak once in a while ketemu sama orang Indonesia, just to remind yourself kayak you're not alone, kayak, or maybe other international students that you guys might meet gitu. Yang kayak, oh ya, ternyata homesick is alright. Ternyata being homesick is like it's natural for us international students being away from home. But then again, you gotta meet with a lot of people gitu kan. Just saling support aja in a way. It was really interesting that Valencia, you mentioned you being like a resident, what's it called, advisor? So basically, kayak working there, kayak I really want to know, like the policies back in Connecticut, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah,
Connecticut, yeah.
yeah. Itu ada a certain limit nggak ya untuk kerja on campus gitu kan?
Yes.
There
So
is
Giselle brought up a
mhm,
really good point. Jadi kalau
maybe yeah,
misalnya you study in the US, I think it's very different from I think a lot of my friends that I've heard that studied in Canada or Australia, for instance, yang kayak you can kind of just work anywhere outside of campus. So there's basically certain restrictions. I think two that you need to keep in mind if you want to come here, if you want to work here. One is that your job has to be an on-campus job. So that's why resident advisor counts as that. And then two, that you have your working hours is limited to 20 hours a week. And so for RA, now it's limited to 20 hours a week. So I basically would not be able to do any other job. But that was the reason why I chose this job, just because it's generally a very flexible job. You don't really do much on a day-to-day. It's a very all I need to do is like I host, community events. I do on duty, and I like things like that. And so, it's a very light job and it's a good pay. But yeah, so there are restrictions to kind of like being a student in the US. But yeah, but if you're on a break, you can work for 40 hours a week. So I think if you guys are in STEM, probably you guys are doing research on campus. And so with that, you can work for, I think, up to 40 hours, right, in the summer. So that's another thing to kind of know about.
yep, yep. I was wondering if like Chloe or Sam, have you guys have any like experiences working or maybe personally, at least for me gitu kan, aku nggak kerja, cuman akhirnya kayak just focus on like what you mentioned, like Valencia, like focus on like research and stuff. But maybe in my senior year, hoping that maybe masih bisa related to like work and stuff. But I was wondering if Sam and Chloe maybe have plans on working on like on campus jobs. If you have friends who've been working and maybe you guys want to share.
Yeah, for sure. So currently I'm also working on campus. I got two jobs right now. So basically like the business development in Haas. It's like a business school. So I focus more in like developing institute business of social impact at Berkeley. Mostly just like business development, creating deck for the sponsors, and yeah, a lot of decking. I'll say a lot of PPT thingy. And then my second job is philanthropy associate. So it's kind of a unique job. It's like basically you also work with the sponsors, but this one is for Citrus. It's like an innovation hub in Berkeley. So yeah, for international students, you're only able to work like 20 hours a week. So it's probably the same as what Fallon has mentioned, but yeah.
Yeah, to add on that, yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunity on campus. I as well is working on campus juga. We have like so in UCSD we have like colleges gitu. It's like a Harry Potter house, I would say. We have like seven or eight of it. And then so most colleges have like their writing program, and after I finished my writing program, my professor recommended me to this job. So I basically do their administrative job, kaya handling the classes and everything. It's like a very, very chill job. Most of the time I would literally just sit in the table and clock my hours and just study actually. I will literally study my finals and midterms while I'm at my job, and so while also getting paid, and I think that's just a very good opportunity, I think. And to also fill your time, because I believe that with classes, especially as a non-STEM I'm a business econ major. So I don't have like labs or things like that. I don't have like 3-hour classes. So I would say my weekly schedule is a bit chill. So I think with work and everything, it gives me more activities and also chances to just getting paid, things like that. And I think a lot of the university offer like on-campus jobs, especially with a lot of development. For example, kaya in my school, there's a lot of construction going on. Kaya we open a new dorm, we open a new grocery store, and I think because of that, there's a lot of job opening as well. Okay, for example, my friend got into barista in Starbucks, and my friend kaya jadi kasir in a grocery. I think there's a lot of opportunity. What's important is that yes, the 20 hours limit per week, you don't want to exceed that. And I think 20 hours is a good time for you to fill your ini kayak waktu kosong gitu. And make sure that you sign all of your paperworks. And I think with the on-campus job, you do need a social security number, which is very nice because of having SSN will give you the opportunity to open credit cards as well, which is just very nice because it really helps you with your finances and everything. And yeah, I'm going tangent right now, but yeah, I do feel like there's a lot of on-campus job, whether it's posted in Handshake or whether you want to just come to any office in your school and ask if there's job opening, there will be a lot of opportunity for you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of my friends use Handshake when it comes to like applying for jobs or seeking or seeing whatever is like opened, like, and it usually happens every like fall for some reason here in UW. Usually fall and then sometimes winter, maybe because maybe people are like going back to their home countries over in the winter for some reason for winter break, and they seem to like need a lot of people just coming in. So like, yeah, Handshake is a really good platform here. I don't know if you guys use it too. Yeah, you guys do it. Okay, cool. So yeah, um, so knowing that you guys are really like involved or like really active as well in a few lot of like, clubs. I know that Chloe's in Berkeley Visa, and then like Sam is also in, yeah, Pernas, of course, and Valencia. Maybe you want to share. You guys could share like how you guys manage between, you know, um just actively working as well on campus, and then being able to be involved in um, non-profits or like organizations and clubs gitu. Sebenarnya gimana sih kayak as a student gitu sebenarnya it's a heck of a workload gitu kan. Banyak teman-teman aku yang di Indonesia yang kayak oh menarik ya gitu kan. Sometimes it's always like a pro and con kayak hah kenapa udah kerja gitu kan, student udah kerja bukannya harus kayak fokus aja kayak academics aja gitu kan ya, karena mungkin di gambaran mereka GPA is everything gitu kan, in order to get good jobs gitu in the future to apply gitu kan, GPA is also a good factor. Cuma pada akhirnya kan kayak we always think back to experiences juga kan ya, in which is a good in which is a factor juga. What do you guys think?
Yeah, no, that's a really good point on kaya what to focus on. I think that was for me coming into WES, to answer your question, get balancing things out. For me was knowing what I wanted to get out of every year, every semester. So first year, for instance, my only goal was to adapt to campus. Karena kayak even you guys, I don't know how you guys did it, kayak you guys move here, get at like 16, you guys said. It's a lot to move to another country, especially a country that's like 24 hours away from home. For me, I don't have any family here. I don't know anyone here. And so like it's a lot to just kind of, I think, learning to live on your own, learning to be an adult, learning to how to be in college. So first year for me, it was basically just to adapt. So I didn't take on any jobs. My course load was generally pretty, intro classes, so it was pretty light. and I kind of just wanted to get adjusted, know the campus, know what, extracurriculars, what activities is out there, and then kind of go on from there. And then second year, when I have more of a foundation of where I am at school, I would say that's where I kind of like go full force for like academics. So like now that I know what is expected of me, kaya the writing style, especially kalau nggak pernah you don't really write that much when, dulu di SMA, never really wrote that much. Things like that, you get accustomed to what your teacher expects of you. So second year, I think I was more focused on academics and kind of like preparing for internship since for my major or what I wanted to do, I was more pre-professional. So I knew that academics wasn't the thing I have to focus most about. So like that was another thing was that I think I knew that I needed to get like good enough score for me to like I think when it comes to job application, it's still works. And so second year was mostly academic for me. And then third year was more for internship because for me, what I wanted to get out of econ was a job, not necessarily like a PhD or like a master's program. It wasn't anything really academic. So third year was like, honestly, I don't think focus on academics is smart if you want to do pre-professional. A lot of your time probably is spent on like either networking or, like applying to your internship and doing the whole interview process and things like that. And then fourth year now, I'm just kind of chilling and I'm like enjoying my senior year. But I think be very intentional about what you want to do, what you want to achieve out of your every year. I think that way you know a handful of things you need to focus on. And it also doesn't get too much gitu. And also I wanted to say I'm also from Pontianak, so very happy to see that Chloe is also here and kita ada dua dari Kalimantan in this call. But yeah, that's for me.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
Ternyata kalian dari
I didn't
Pontianak
know.
juga, gemas.
Yay. we should catch up soon because I didn't know she's from Pontianak. Okay. Thank you, Permias. I didn't know, but yeah. Okay, maybe I can like add something to Valen punya answer. So for me, kayak my way of thinking is a bit different in a way that like kayak awal-awal in my first year, my freshman year, fall semester, I was really depressed just because like if you think that like you're the best student in Pontianak, when you go to Berkeley, kayak semua orang is just like you. Like everyone is just like as ambitious as crack as you, right? So I think like from the early start, it took me a while to accept it, accept the fact that like I shouldn't be denial and I should just like focus on myself. I think kayak itu yang kayak perlu diperhatikan juga untuk teman-teman yang mau datang ke US karena orang-orang di sini juga kayak gila-gila crack banget gitu. But also like since the early start, I already know like my strength isn't studying. Kayak I know that like I don't like studying. No, to be honest, I just don't like studying. I just don't like seeing numbers and those kind of stuff. Tapi kayak karena my major requires me to do a lot of math, tapi kayak ya udah gitu. But like kayak karena kita dari awal udah punya mindset that like okay, nggak apa-apa GPA-nya not the best, tapi I wanna focus more on like other stuff kayak non-academic. For example, like right now, mungkin my GPA isn't the best, but like maybe I have more experience work experience than anyone else than like my peers. Atau mungkin kamu lagi bikin startup, bangun startup and those kind of stuff. So I think that like human itu pasti ada strength and weaknessnya. So you just have to cope with it and just kayak fokus aja with yourself. Don't compare yourself to other people. Kayak gitu sih. Maybe Sam, you can add up as well.
Yeah, to add on what Valencia and Chloe had said, I really like how Valencia said that you have to be intentional in what you are trying to achieve in your while you're in college, as well as what Chloe said that it's not only about academics when you're in US. I think that's the unique opportunity the US offered is that you're able to explore a lot of things other than academics. You're allowed to literally just build a startup like Chloe, or maybe just find on-campus job, explore other things outside your major, outside your organization, and just find your passion along the way. I think while you're being intentional in a lot of things in your major, in your academic career, I think it's fine that you're also seizing a lot of opportunity. For example, just build a community. I think just mingle with people around you, network with your professor. I think the thing about being in the US is that you can never know what the US could really bring you. I think you can never know what your future holds, because I think you can get a job out of a lot of things, not only from LinkedIn, not only from Handshake, but from a lot of things, maybe from your professor, maybe from your TA, maybe from random people that you network with. I think what I want what I want students to be is that I think you have to seize a lot of opportunity that the US offer. I'd say literally just have fun while you're here, because a lot of things in the US are not in the Indo, and I think um literally just have fun, because um I yeah, I think it's a great privilege and opportunity to be here. And honestly, um don't think too much about a lot of things, but um be intentional and also be flexible, I think, at the same time. Yeah.
Thank you guys. Honestly, I feel so touched. I don't know why. Because honestly, being a senior year, I feel like there are so many things that I could have done, so many things I reflect on. And it's really nice that you guys give like reflections and advices for, students for watching as of now, let's say as a freshman or aiming towards, studying and pursuing education in the United States. And it's really nice that you guys have given like insights and tips as well throughout our, convo, our little talk for today. So unfortunately, our time has come to an end. But as we wrap up, I want to sincerely thank our speakers once again, Valencia, Chloe, Samantha, Yosem. You guys are really amazing people. I hope you guys do well for your future endeavors to go wherever you guys are at. Kita mencar-mencar. And thank you so much for sharing your experiences and insights. And to our audience, thank you for spending your time with us today. I hope you're leaving with, encouragement and, practical steps perhaps for your own journey towards studying in the States. So on behalf of Permesa Nasional, I wish all of you guys the very best in your academic journey. And until next time, thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
See you. Bye.
Fun.
Whoa, okay.
You good?
I think that was great. That was
That was good, good.
good. Yeah.
Hey guys, bentar, tes. Oke.